Hey everyone, Dagnabbit Dan here. Today we're going to be sharing some gaming and mental health thoughts with Disco Elysium. I'm giving this review after I've gotten all the achievements. The process of getting all these achievements drove me as insane as Harry Dubois in this game. But I'll get into all of that in a bit. First, let's start with the game. There will be spoilers in this video, so you've been warned. The intro to this game does a great job showing where you're going to be starting from nothing, just pure darkness and nothing. As you continue to argue with yourself through a void of nothingness, you awaken. And from the nothingness, you're thrown into something that doesn't look all that great. Like most situations in this game, you're thrown into a big mess. As you can already tell, there's going to be themes of addiction and mental illness. I've hung around with a lot of depressed people in my life, and I can tell you from experience that a lot of their rooms do look like this. At one point, my room looked like this as well. Besides that, you can already tell that alcoholism is going to play a huge part in this game. As you stumble over to the mirror, this started to remind me all too well of my own personal struggles with depression. But when you finally work up the motivation to look yourself in the mirror, it's not all that bad, or is it? This game does a great job giving you that choice, because you can either be a superstar cop, or you can just not have a clue who you're looking at in the mirror. There are so many different characters to play as just through this one man. You'll notice that you've got some odd voices in your head. You'll be arguing with, agreeing, or ignoring these voices in your head throughout the entire game. While you can find some intelligent ones in the mix, a lot of them can be seen as intrusive. Sometimes even the intelligent ones can seem intrusive. Logic will occasionally tell you to overthink everything even when there's no answer. Inland Empire will turn normal situations into anxiety, and sometimes ghosts and hallucinations. Suggestion will nag you to say the perfect thing. These voices were definitely relatable to my experience with OCD. The game throws you into this world with all the information you need, you just have to find it. These voices will sometimes guide you towards or away from the information. As you look at the calendar on the wall, it tells you you're in March of 51. I've done about 5 or 6 playthroughs of this game, and each time I found something completely different. On my first playthrough, I completely missed that calendar on the wall. There are things that are so easy to miss in this game that are so important. Like when we were looking in the mirror, you could miss the fact that you're a superstar cop. But these characters outside of you do a great job reminding you who you are. Like many situations in this game, a success or failure can follow you throughout your entire playthrough. And that's where the dice roll system comes in.
Drunk. Try the expression. Come on, why are you still doing this? Deploying high concept buzzword generator. All systems functional. Ready to engage in 3, 2, 1.
Some of these dice rolls are significant and some aren't. On my first playthrough, I failed so many dice rolls that I ended up just starting a new game. At first I found it annoying, but as I played the game, seeing that green success screen pop up felt more satisfying. Because nothing is more satisfying than roundhouse kicking a racist. Another important system in the game is the thought cabinet. You can internalize certain thoughts as they pop up throughout the game. They'll either give you a buff or a debuff, or both. This is like an OCD brain on display. For instance, Wompty Dumpty Dom Center. It turns you into a living encyclopedia. You get bonuses for learning useless trivia. And let me tell you, I am absolutely full of useless trivia. This is how OCD feels for me, a need to understand everything, even if it's irrelevant. If I don't fully grasp or understand a situation, my brain screams at me like drama does in this game. When you're done being lost in your thoughts with this game, you can take a look around and look at the environment. This game does a great job painting a picture for you. The weather and the scenery all fit well with the oil painting aesthetic. At first I thought it was ugly, but like the dice roll system in the game, it grew on me. When you take in all the sights and little details, you'll realize that this is about more than just an amnesiac alcoholic cop. There are a lot bigger mysteries in this game than the murder of a mercenary.
Joins. As the insect moves slowly, like hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet no reply. A total ancient silence.
There was so many twists and turns in this game that it wasn't until the third playthrough that I started going insane. This is when my achievement hunt started. When I looked up the percentage of people that acquired most of the achievements, it was under 1% for some of them. If you look at the descriptions for most of these, they're very vague. Some of these achievements just randomly popped, and it was either because they were bugged or I have no idea how I got it. I couldn't get the hardcore achievement to pop until after my third playthrough. One of the most annoying ones was to get Kim to wear the jacket. You know, that one. In this clip, you can see he's already wearing the jacket even though I haven't gotten it yet. And that's because I loaded an earlier save and it just popped up. I missed these checks and didn't think much of it on my third playthrough. And because of how many achievements I was going after, trying to fit into one run, I ended up missing this until my final run. That's because on one of my runs, I was focused on recruiting Kuno. And you can't get Kim to wear the jacket when he's not there. So I had to reload old saves in hopes that it would eventually pop. And it finally did, when I was loading a random save from way back. I sat through this cutscene so many times and the credits because you can't skip the credits. I mean, you can close the game, but I thought for some reason if you did, it would mark it as not completed. And that's why I thought my hardcore achievement wasn't popping, because I kept closing the game at the credits. There were so many achievements that were just linked to these odd dialogue choices that nobody would ever guess, so you'd have to look up multiple guides for it. I had way too many tabs open for the guides, and I ended up getting lost and confused multiple times, so sometimes I would have to start over with the guides. There are also achievements for ending the game in certain ways. The most fun one was dying in a trash can. I found this one on accident because I didn't have enough money to spend on a room to sleep in. So I thought if I slept in the garbage can for the night, I would be okay. By far, the hardest achievement is the Committee of La Responsibility. This gigantic contraption, a radio transceiver, is used to contact the moral intern. Most of the guides I've found to get this achievement are so short, and that's where flipping through multiple guides came in, especially with this one. I made a guide on Steam for this, and I don't even think it covers enough. You would have to make a whole video on this. Once you successfully complete it, you'll see this screen that says, "Weeks later, no answers about extracted cop." So pretty much Harry just gets taken away in this giant warship, and then the game ends. This was one of the most satisfying achievements to get, because it probably took me about 8 to 10 hours just to get it all figured out, and I believe I had to do 1 or 2 playthroughs because I kept messing up. Another achievement that was hard for me to get was Hardy's Heroes. You have to pass multiple checks in the shootout and make sure that Titus doesn't die, and then after that I believe there's one more check that you have to pass. Speaking of the shootout, this caught me by surprise on my first playthrough.
I'm all out of shits to give, Loincloth. Welcome to the fucking reckoning.
Put your damn gun down. People are gonna get hurt. We need to talk this through. All right?
Shut up! You're not gonna talk yourself out of this, Loincloth shit fuck.
Cortana.
For killing, maiming, and humiliating our commanding officer, you're all sentenced to death by lead. Find his killer. Cop. His killer. I know what this tactic is, Silo.
This did nothing. You think you were onto something? You just wasted time. Please, act. A plume of smoke and fire erupts from the gun, and your hand goes numb from the explosion. There is a hole in his cheek. Blood gushes out as he stumbles backward, eyes filled with rage and disbelief, gurgling, muttering something unintelligible. His lips, moving, swollen with fear, are trying to say, shoot him, but he can't. To your right, the killer raises his rifle and an Easter AR-FA7 built for taking out light armored vehicles. You leap left. A swarm of angry lead passes mere millimeters from your side, tearing fabric off your coat. Feels like the lightest of tucks. The man tilts his head, trying to see through the clearing smoke for the next shot. Watch out! To your left.
God, please.
He's aiming for the eye slot in Rude's helmet. An extremely difficult shot. 2 shots ring at once. One from the lieutenant's pistol, and the other from DePaul's. It's Glenn, dying in a puddle of blood behind you. You see 2 crazed eyes stare at you through all the smoke and the panic. With blood gushing from his face, the man raises his pistol at you. Then he squeezes the trigger.
Now, one thing I haven't really mentioned is investigating the body that these people are seeking vengeance for. And that's because you get an achievement for never investigating the body. You also have to solve the crime and find out who did it. You find out it's just this old guy right here, chilling on an island.
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of... I am a deserter, a partisan, and a
Wait! Like the fucking...
Yes, I am from the Insular Indian Citizens Militia.
With the murder solved and the achievements out of the way, I have to say I had a great time with this game. I don't normally enjoy CRPGs, but this one kept me hooked. I was able to relate to this game through my own personal experiences with mental health. And it gave me a chance to be a superstar disco cop. Now, in some of these clips, there's like weird symbols on the screen like there was just a little bit ago, and that's because I have the dyslexic font on. With all that said, I'm going to give this game an 8 out of 10. It's not mediocre, but it's not a masterpiece. It's right in between. Thanks for watching and have a great day.